Yeah. What do you make of the stock reaction in light of what Christina said?
I think this is the stock that gives a lot of relief across the sector. I mean, and by the way, for all the negativity that seems to be around the chip space and Oracle we're going to talk about, but really semis continue to outperform. I'm just going to remind everybody where the leadership in the market has been, even in the last 4 or 5 days. But back to Broadcom, I think it gets back to the Google TPU relationship and where suddenly this company and the custom dynamic of what they are doing and where people believe the industry is going to be is part of what makes this stock more resilient than others, and why the multiple, which does not make sense, Dan. He's got kind of a smirk on his face. Maybe it's my sweater.
I think that's the way his face
and that's
is.
fair. Anyway, I think this brings some relief across the space, especially those folks that are not committed to mega capex.
Does this bring relief to Nvidia, or is its success in TPU seen as bad for Nvidia?
I don't think it brings relief to Nvidia. Nvidia's down like 16% since its all-time high, so that's a different story, I think. If there's anything to if you want to pick apart the quarter, free cash flow was light, and the valuation at 44 times next year's is expensive. That said, operating margins were up significantly year over year, so they're doing everything right there in high-margin businesses. You got to wrap your head around the valuation. The market seems not to care right now.
I agree with Di on the dominance. I mean, that it's bad for Nvidia.
Yeah.
So the pie is growing. I believe that. But Nvidia was all their pie for a while.
Right.
And so the margins reflect that. And you have to think that as, it becomes somewhat, they don't have all the share, that margins would suffer.
Two things for the margin comment. High bandwidth memory, the prices keep climbing really high. So I think that was a big factor of these margins stay high, pretty good given the price that we're seeing. The second point, just with Nvidia, everybody keeps talking about this is the first inning. It's only going to grow from here. So that, to me, could read as maybe slightly negative for Nvidia, because if it's the first inning, Nvidia has that pie. To your point, the pie keeps growing, but now that pie is being shifted and everybody's taking slices. Even just like Rivian today, the fact that Rivian was creating their own AI chip and not going to use Nvidia, or even for Broadcom, one small point. Broadcom makes chips for Google. They make these TPUs. The problem is that Google's next iteration of that TPU is going to be more in-house. So that's actually could be a negative for Broadcom, and hats off to Semi-Analysis for pointing that out in a research report just over the last 24 hours. But something to keep in mind when you're talking about this stock maybe 12 months from now.
Only because you asked, would I rather Broadcom versus...
Let's be clear, I did not, but go ahead.
I'm sitting far away from you. I thought I heard it. I would go with Broadcom, despite the valuation. Dan said it was up 75%. NVIDIA's only up 35% year to date. Custom chips. That's where the puck is going. I think that's what's scaring NVIDIA, and I think that's where they're going to give up the volume. And to Christina's point, Rivian is a testament to where the puck is going. And I think NVIDIA has pulled a lot of rabbits out of a hat. I think they might be out of rabbits.
Well, I think it's interesting because we've been talking so long about the dynamic of custom chips entering into the fray. And all of a sudden, with Gemini and the recent success of Gemini, have we talked really about the success of that TPU, which has been in the works for the past 10 years. But all of a sudden, it happened, and all of a sudden, it's here, and all of a sudden, NVIDIA is not responding well.
Yeah, and I think we're all making a point, but I'll clarify my point. I do think that there are threats to some of the folks that have outperformed to this point, but the message here is that those folks that are lean and mean, evolving, and are able to either customize or be able to move with the way the industry is going and are not CapEx and asset heavy are the ones that actually should feel some relief today. There's never a question about demand, and that's what this comes down to. So, and I don't know that we are all here questioning, any of us, the demand story, but that's the part of this that I think brings some relief today, unless you're one of the legacy folks that we're talking about that really has been the lion's share.
Yeah, so to Christina's point about who is that fourth customer, right? Well, it's likely OpenAI. When you think about demand...
People say Anthropic.
Anthropic, yeah.
Okay, and I mean, whatever.
Whoever it is, it's a fourth
Well, what
customer.
I'm saying is, like, they're both the same thing, except that OpenAI is obviously has a lot more demand for these chips right now, and we've been talking about this. I mean, listen, if OpenAI falters, right, if this Stargate thing doesn't happen the way we all expect it to, I mean, demand's going to come in. It's just that simple. And so a lot of this is tied to OpenAI's demand. Anthropic obviously is a much smaller name, and I know that they're out there and they're doing a lot of this stuff. But to me, Sam Altman, we're all, you got to do this thing. You got to make this happen. Otherwise, this whole AI trade really does come, I don't want to say crashing down, but it comes in pretty hard in 2026.
Micron, I think to your point on high bandwidth memory, Micron's higher in the after-hour session, so that's the link there. But in terms of how the AI trade reacted today, before Broadcom, what we saw was Microsoft was up by 1%. Meta caught a little bit, but still it was a little bit of a bit. I mean, it's an interesting sort of rotation that we saw today in terms of going into the AI plays that have been beaten down.
Microsoft, I think, a bit of a relief rally. It sold off pretty significantly over the last couple of weeks, so that's where I'll go on that front. In terms of Facebook, it actually does make sense. I mean, I think Karen would agree with this. Got down to levels that what doesn't matter if it should have been there or not. It got there, but I think the market realized, well, wait a second, we get the spend, but they have still such a huge moat, and the valuation is still compelling. I think people are piling back in, and probably correctly so.